armies are overwhelmed. Jimin's reaction to Jungkook's emotional speech is the most touching moment. Crying face, broken heart, the army world seemed to stop for a moment when that moment happened. There was no thunderous music, no grandiose stage, no cheers of thousands of spectators. There are only two figures who have grown together for more than a decade, standing in emotional silence. Jungkook spoke with a trembling voice, word for word coming out of his heart without any protection. And in his presence, Jimin listened, not as an idol, not as a world star, but as someone who truly cared. Jungkook's emotional speech that night was not something planned. No script, no briefing, no cue from the production team. Everything just flowed, as if the feelings that had been harbored had finally found a way out. He talks about the pressure, about the fear, about the loneliness that often comes at a time when the world sees him as the brightest figure. But what made the army unable to hold back tears was when Jungkook mentioned one name that had always been his place to return, Jimin. The tone of his voice changed as the name was spoken. Slower, more fragile, and much more honest. Jungkook admits that there were times when he felt like he wasn't strong enough, wasn't good enough, and almost lost his way. In those moments, Jimin's presence became an irreplaceable support. Not with long advice, not with big words, but with a consistent existence. By sitting next to him, by listening. Understand without asking too many questions. Jimin's reaction to the confession was the main highlight. The camera captured his face, which initially tried to remain calm, but the eyes could not lie. Jimin's gaze changed slowly. There was surprise, there was emotion, there was affection so deep that it almost overflowed. His lips trembled, as if he wanted to say something but chose to remain silent. In that silence, armies around the world felt something in common: raw, sincere, and deeply human emotions. Jimin did not immediately respond with words. He looked down for a moment, took a deep breath, then looked at Jungkook with eyes that began to glaze over. The moment felt so intimate despite being watched by millions of pairs of eyes. There is no limit to idols and fans. All that remains are two human beings who share an emotional bond that has been forged by time, struggle, and wounds that are not always visible. When Jimin finally spoke, his voice was soft but full of meaning. He admitted that hearing Jungkook's confession made his heart mixed up. There is a sense of sadness for realizing how heavy a burden Jungkook has been carrying all this time, but there is also a sense of warmth for being believed to be part of that emotional journey. Jimin says that Jungkook is never alone, even when he feels the loneliest. That simple sentence struck the army's heart with incredible force. For longtime BTS fans, this moment is not something that comes suddenly. It is an accumulation of long relationships that have been built since they were teenagers. From the early days in the cramped rehearsal room, when dreams seemed too big and the future was still filled with question marks. Jimin and Jungkook grew up together, seeing each other's weakest and strongest sides. They witnessed change, failure, success, and all the emotions in between. Jungkook's emotional remarks seemed to reopen all those memories. He not only talks about the present, but also about the long journey they have gone through. About sleepless nights, about the pressure of expectations, about the fear of disappointing their loved ones. And in the midst of it all, Jimin's reaction is proof that the bond is still as strong as it used to be, maybe even deeper. Army on social media reacted immediately. Hashtags related to the names Jimin and Jungkook dominate trending topics in various countries. Thousands of tweets, posts, and comments flooded the timeline, all expressing the same feeling: being touched, moved, and feeling closer to them. Many admitted that they cried while rewatching the moment, feeling emotions so real that they are difficult to express in words. What makes this moment even more touching is the honesty that emanates without filters. There is no attempt to look strong. There is no imposed perfect image. Jungkook exposes his vulnerability, and Jimin responds with genuine empathy. In an industry that often demands perfection, moments like these feel rare and precious. Some fans called it one of the most human moments ever shown by BTS. Not because it's dramatic, but because of its authenticity. Jimin's reaction was not a contrived reaction. It was a reflection of a truly touched heart. From someone who realizes that the person he cares about all this time turns out to keep so much weight behind his bright smile. After that moment passed, the atmosphere turned warmer. Jimin approached, and without many words, the two shared a simple gesture full of meaning. No need for long explanations. ARMY knows what that means. Support, understanding, a silent promise that no matter what happens, they will still be there for each other. Many said that this moment reminded them of the reason why they fell in love with BTS in the first place. Not only because of music, dance, or global achievements, but because of the honesty and humanity they show. Jimin's reaction to Jungkook's emotional remarks became a symbol of that bond, a bond that cannot be measured in words or numbers. In the days that followed, the moment continued to be talked about. Video footage is replayed, analyzed, and shared with various soulful captions. Every expression on Jimin's face, every pause in Jungkook's breathing, everything felt meaningful. For ARMY, it's not just content, it's a reminder that behind the spotlight and the glitter of the stage, there are humans with hearts who can hurt and heal through each other. Jimin's reaction also showed great emotional maturity. He didn't try to take over the moment, didn't distract, but made room for Jungkook to be honest. It is the form of support that is often most needed, being fully present, without judging. And when it came time to speak, Jimin's words felt just right, as if born of deep understanding. For Jungkook, the confession seemed to be a point of release. The weight that had been buried seemed to be slightly lifted. His expression after hearing Jimin's response showed a relief that was hard to hide. The small smile that appears between his still wet eyes is proof that he feels heard and accepted. This most touching moment will be remembered for a long time by the ARMY. Not because it's sensational, but because of its honesty. Jimin's reaction to Jungkook's emotional remarks teaches a lot about friendship, about empathy, and about the courage to open your heart. In a world that often demands us to be strong, this moment is a reminder that it's okay to be fragile, as long as we're not alone. And maybe that's why the ARMY is powerless. Because in Jimin's reaction and Jungkook's remarks, they saw a reflection of their own feelings. About wanting to be understood, about wanting to be supported, about how valuable a person is willing to stay, even when we show the weakest side. The night passed, but the impact was still felt. The moment not only deepened the bond between Jimin and Jungkook, but also between BTS and ARMY. A reminder that music and fame may have brought them to the world stage, but it was honesty and sincere love that kept them in the hearts of millions. It was as if the moment had not really ended. Even after the cameras slowly moved away and the broadcast continued to the next segment, there was something left in the air, a feeling that was hard to describe, yet deeply felt. Jimin seemed to glance at Jungkook several times afterwards, as if to confirm that he was okay. The gaze was not brief nor excessive, but attentive. The ARMY, which was keen to catch these small details, immediately drifted back, because that is precisely where its sincerity lies. A few moments later, Jungkook was seen taking a deep breath. His shoulders that had been tense began to loosen. He didn't say much more, but his expression was different. There is a calm that was not there before. Many fans believe that Jimin's reaction, calm, empathetic, and non-judgmental, gives Jungkook the security he needs. Not as a group mate, but as someone who really understands the burden behind the big name, Golden Magne. On social media, the ARMY began sharing their personal stories. Many claim to feel represented by Jungkook's confession and Jimin's response. Some write that they cry not because they are sad, but because they feel seen. Because the moment reminds them of the importance of one person willing to listen without trying to fix everything. Jimin, in his simple reaction, seems to be a symbol of the emotional support that we often seek in life.